Today. That's good. All right, Olin, right down front.
Hi, Kevin. There was a time when it seemed like freshmen took a while to make an impact. Why do you think? Is there any reason you think, or you're just lucky that freshmen now make such an impact so soon?
I don't know that they're making. That's not an across-the-board statement. I think you've got certain guys that are very, very talented that have been able to make that transition. There's also been, I've said this before on that the new rules have really, really helped college football and have helped the student athlete. The fact that we're able to pay for summer school subsequent to the young man entering in the fall. So guys, they get a graduation. Some guys graduate are here and then graduate that next Friday back home, but are here already in summer school. That was one big thing that helped from just a maturation standpoint. The second big rule change was the ability for coaches to being able to meet with players about football-related things for up to 2 hours a week in the summertime. So, you've got a young man here now who is lifting for basically 2 4-month periods, right? So, 2 4-week periods, June and July, which is a complete off-season and a workout phase. But you've got a guy who's here, he's lifting 3 4 times a week. In our situation, quarterbacks are running 7-on-7s with the defense 3 nights a week. He's lifting and conditioning 4 nights a week, and he's meeting with his coaches 3 days a week. So, that will speed up a curve in a hurry, as opposed to a guy coming in the fall and in August and really seeing the playbook for the first time. Just like I said for Kyler and a bunch of these young guys, when we started practice, we had been through the installation twice offensively. The only thing we hadn't done was gone out and work with them as coaches.
Go follow it.
So, in understanding all that, could you have envisioned that Christian Kirk would make the kind of impact that he's made this quickly?
It's like I always envision everybody we recruit doing that. Maybe you don't, but we'd like for everybody that we sign to be that way. There's a lot of dynamic players out there, and a lot of guys that are making impacts across the country. And I think, fortunately, we've signed our share of them. We're going to continue to recruit that way. And I think what it says is that the best players get to play here. Whether you've been here 5 years or 5 days, and competition is our best friend. That being said, he's playing well. He caught a break. Speedy's been nicked up a little bit. When he gets back, he's got to take a little bit off of Christian's plate. I think because we're getting a lot out of him, and it's good. What I've found is it's awful hard for a freshman to play at that level the complete year. And I think you saw that with Armani Watts last year. I think you've seen that with a lot of guys. And so what we've got to do is have some of these other guys step into those roles. And fortunately, we have guys that can do it. And that's what I'm looking to see. We've got to get the other guys going. And Ricky's been solid. He hadn't had the numbers that people think he should have, but he's playing as well as he's ever played from a physical standpoint, from a blocking standpoint, leadership and maturity standpoint. Josh Reynolds has gotten going. Obviously, in the last 3 weeks, with what he does is make touchdowns. That's his deal. So, what we've got to do is bring the other guys along in the intermediate phase, and that's where Speedy and Ratley and Jeremy Taboyo and those guys. Jeremy's had a great year. I said he had a great spring. So we've got enough weapons that can help him out, because he's going to start seeing different coverages. He's going to start seeing different things, And after about game 4 or 5, people figure out it's not a fluke. He's got some real talent, and so defenses will change.
We'll go right next to Olin there. Lee, then Gabe, and then Brent.
48 total plays going back to last Saturday, only having the ball for 20 minutes or so, and you're still able to win the game. So given that fact, I was curious how much or how relevant is the time of possession stat to you?
For what we do, not very relevant at all. Now, you've heard me say before, what's relevant to us is third down conversion. If you're not converting third downs offensively, it doesn't matter how much you have the ball. And the idea, defensively, they work together. Third down conversion defense and third down conversion offense and turnover margin. We won the game because we won turnover margin 2-0. And basically we're efficient on the few plays that we had. It's hard to walk in at halftime and be frustrated when you only had 16 plays and you're winning the game. So, from that standpoint, you got to look and say, all right, if we do get enough plays, we'll be fine. In those situations, I think what you see and have seen from other people and maybe feel from the crowd, the fact that, hey, we got to do something. We got to do something. We got to score. And in actuality, that's not the case because the score of the game didn't dictate that. The score of the game was a close football game. And when you don't have, I think a lot of times in those situations, people panic and get outside themselves and feel like every possession we have to get something, we got to score. Well, in actuality, every possession you have to at least flip the field or put points on the board in that type of game, in a close game. And that's how we were able to hang in there and able to win ultimately because of, as I said, turnover ratio. I don't think that, looking back at the game, Arkansas played exactly the kind of football game they wanted to play. And it started with them winning the toss and taking the ball, which doesn't ever happen to us. So, I knew right then what their mindset was going to be. And that part of it is part of where, maturity of your team has to come in. Instead of guys pressing and panicking and feeling like they have to get something done have to score a touchdown every snap or every possession, moving the football and giving them long fields and moving the football and scoring points is still important. Do we have to get better in the red zone? Yes. And that's a point of emphasis for us, but certainly hanging on to the ball and being able to do something with the few possessions we had was a big deal.
Gabe.
Kevin, it is interesting how the schedule sets up this year as compared to last year and the similarities of it and the similarities of Saturday night and that win over Arkansas and the way you won it. But what about this team gives you a lot of confidence that your team is more equipped than it was last year to handle this rugged stretch?
I think I disagree with you, Gabe. I don't think this year's schedule is anything like last year's. I think maybe the game was like that. We were one of the few teams to go 8 straight weeks last year in a row. We draw a bye week after this week. We've played 2 Power 5 teams, right? During this time we played, Arizona State to start. That's probably the only thing that's different. We've had 1 conference game. So, I think this season's completely different. I don't draw any similarities to it. I think people are making a mistake, trying to say, well, this team, let's wait and see here. That's fine. Let's wait and see. But we got this game, and to a certain extent, it's. I think there's a little bit to this game that you get 2 teams that might be feeling the same way about life, and that's without going into that. I think you understand what I'm getting at. So, this team we're playing, Mississippi State's a really good team. I'm amazed. You spend 5 or 6 weeks at number 1 last year. You return the most experienced and best quarterback in the league, and they're picked last in our division, and I don't see that. They've lost a game, they missed a field goal, and kept Auburn out of didn't get a touchdown in 4 trips in the red zone last week. So this team's got an experienced quarterback who knows how to win, will not be intimidated, been in big environments and won big football games. Got their top tacklers back on defense. Like I said, I think basically, as a team that's not getting the type of respect that they should be getting. And they're coming in here to prove something. And you got 2 very, very similar teams playing Saturday night. So it's going to be a heck of a game.
Down front, Brent.
Kyle Allen still only has, 9 starts to his name, but in terms of his fourth quarters and y'all's 2 biggest games, tightest games this year, Arizona State and then Arkansas, could you speak to the poise and kind of the, what he's done in those fourth quarters?
Yeah, he's been really good. I think he's been calm. The look in his eye has been really good. I think a lot different than last year this time, when he wasn't playing at all. I think he left the Arkansas game. Quite frankly, I think last year when he left that game, he was thinking about going somewhere else to play. So, because we had a quarterback that was playing at a high level and had just won a game like that. So, he's come a long ways. And can he get better? You bet. There's a lot of things he's working on. We're working on with him. But, confidence is a big deal. And, he understands the system better. I thought his ball security was a lot better Saturday. Just little things within the pocket, and obviously coming through the game with us not turning the ball over. Quarterback has a lot to do with that, and he was smart in what he was trying to do. So, yeah, he should get better. That's just a progression of things, and I think he understands. He understands personnel a lot more. That's what you saw in the fourth quarter, and making the right decisions. So that all comes with the growth of a quarterback.
To the left, Cease, and then KO.
Kevin, you said after the game Saturday you might have to wait to see some video to get a true analyzation of your offensive line. Can you talk about how you felt your offensive line played Saturday night?
I think we did some good things. I think whenever we get in a situation where we had to drop back and they could just pin their ears back and rush, that created some issues for us. I thought that we were able to handle that schematically. I thought we did a great job on third down with screens, with particularly running back screens with Trey Carson to get first downs and not try to go down the field with the ball and hold the ball. So I thought game plan-wise, from where we started, our biggest issue were penalties. We got the ball we step out, Christian steps out at the 3-yard line, 2.5-yard line. We get a penalty halfway to the goal line. I don't know where it was, 1.5, 2 yards. Then we get it on the 7, and we go 2 plays, we're at their 7. But I think we had long fields, and the third down situations I thought we handled schematically as coaches better. I thought our screen game was good during those situations. Threw Christian hot one time across the middle. Kyle stood in there and took a hit. But being able to do some things running the ball wise, I tell you what I did see. They played more man-to-man and loaded the box more than they had done the previous 3 weeks, which they played more too high safety looks. And when you get that and you get an extra guy in there, you either got to run on him, you're not going to be able to block them all, and we got to run on him. And that's where Trey was able to do that. We stayed with it, and they stayed in that. And ultimately, because they were playing man-to-man, you saw what happened later in the game. So that all works together, and that's something that I think we've taken a step as a team to do. Will that work every week? I don't know, but I do know this, that schematically it changed their defensive look. And ultimately, we were able to do some things offensively that we probably couldn't have done against some too high safety looks.
We'll go to the back, first in the middle, Darryl, or right, go ahead on the wing here.
Coach, right here, you kind of mentioned how nobody's really talking about Mississippi State and things that they did last year. And being how dynamic of a quarterback Prescott is, what kind of problems do you think he presents to your defense?
The same problems he presents to everybody's defense. You know, he's 220, 230. I don't know. He gets bigger every year. I see him. And he's patient back there. I mean, they run a power read, and he'll hop, and then he'll just look, and then you just hope he doesn't come popping out of there. And he's a tough guy to tackle. You talk to our guys, you know, from the game last year. He's strong, and he's a leader. I mean, he's. I think the biggest compliment you can ever give a guy is you know, would you want this guy on your team? And I mean, just a class act. You know, when you go to media days, just a great guy to be around. And when he's on the field, he just exudes confidence. And I think, you know, the team feeds off of that. And you know, he's not going to be intimidated. He's been on big stages. And he's a good player. So, you know, he's a guy that everything's going to run through him offensively. We know that. You know, we've got to have a plan. They've got excellent skill on the outside to complement that. Big receivers that can go get it. You know, so you know, he's got weapons. Their power running game, everything comes off of that, and the play action shots off of it. So schematically, they do a great job. You know, always have. Dan Mullen is always been that kind of guy that's going to give his players an opportunity to be successful and not put a square peg in a round hole. He's done that all the way back to Tebow. So, you know, those guys that he's going to – it's going to all come off the running game and then take his shots when he needs to, and they got the weapons on the outside. So it'll be a big challenge for us.
Go to the middle there, Darryl.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about last week you put Kyler in the middle of a series? I'm sure you have more plans for that, but just kind of what that does to the defense to kind of catch them a little bit off balance?
I don't know. I was hoping it would catch him off balance. You never know, and it looked like it did. What did we get, 25 yards in about 2 or 3 plays? So, you know, that's the ability to put him in and do some things with him, I think is advantageous to us. You know, the ability for him to be in that environment is advantageous to him. As he gets more comfortable, there are more things that he can do instead of just running him on and off the field. I think that obviously, you know, it cost them a timeout one time. So there's some things that he brings to the table that help our football team. Maybe during not as well, it does help us during the game. He did, and he does, but also creates a preparation situation for the other team. And you know, as he continues to grow, you know, the more he's going to get, and the more opportunities, the more of the whole package he's going to be. He'll be able to handle in those type of situations.
Sam, you wrap us up.
Few updates. Looked like Otaro Laka left the game. What's his status?
No comment.
But James White? Any update on James White?
No. Come on, Sam. Really?
You know I'm going to ask. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to ask. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get the same answer. Don't know what you're talking about.
Ben, given what you know, the physicality of the team you guys face, how do you feel like you guys came out of it? Not just that night, but in the couple days after.
We'll see. You know, I'll be honest with you. You know, we don't do much on Mondays. You know, Sunday we don't practice on Sunday. Sunday's recovery day. Monday is more of a mental. I'll know more today. You know, we're in full pads today and tomorrow. So, you know, I know this. Our guys were bouncing around yesterday and very, very attentive. Very excited to be back home. Going to be a great atmosphere. I've talked to a couple of different people. I don't know that there's a couple tickets left, maybe, but 6:30 game, 2 top 25 teams. You know, we'll be. It's right in the wheelhouse for the 12th man. This will be a great atmosphere Saturday night, and our guys will be excited to play.
One last one along those notes. Realizing that you guys have played difficult teams here, you guys seem to have more success on the road in the SEC than here at home. What do you attribute to that, or can you put your finger on why that is?
Nope. Don't know.
Very good. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.